Damn ye let Neptune think your dead Winslow. Hark! The Lighthouse is directed by Robert Eggers and stars Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe. The Lighthouse is the second film to be directed by Eggers, and the first being the phenomenal and underrated 2015 film The Witch, starring Anya Taylor-Joy. And it is, like I said, phenomenal. If you haven't seen The Witch, I highly recommend it. I think it's still on, if I'm correct, I think it's still on Netflix, so you should really check it out. But unlike The Witch, The Lighthouse is definitely not underrated. It's known, it's not only known within film culture, it's starting to be known within just normal culture. A lot more people know stuff like Hark, and there have been parodies and stuff already. So unlike The Witch, this movie is thankfully more well known. It made a decent amount. It more than doubled its. I think it even tripled its budget at the box office, if I remember correctly. So that's always great when a film like this managed to do that. A24 is definitely a force to be reckoned with in the film industry. They've got a lot going for them. Although people seem to agree that this movie was definitely snubbed at the Oscars. It got one nomination, don't know if it win yet, and it's up against 1917. I hope it wins. I hope it wins, just for the simple fact that it'd be nice to see a movie like this win. It got Best Cinematography, and like I said, it's up against 1917, which I have yet to see. Hopefully I'll see that soon. But the cinematography, just based on the trailers alone, looks amazing. So, I guess I'll have to see 1917 in order to compare, but I definitely feel like Lighthouse should at least get the win. But anyway, let's get into it. Right off the bat, what sticks out is the coloring and how this movie is shot. The film is entirely black and white, which works so well to further push the tone of the film, which is a bleakness, but also sort of a dark comedy. The director has stated that this is technically a dark comedy, which I can see that. There's a lot of moments, sort of like Midsummer, where you're laughing, but it's an uncomfortable laugh. Not a full-on dark comedy like movies like Game Night, the most recent example I can think of. It is also shot with a lot of stills and tracking shots, and it's stunning and beautiful to look at. It's very reminiscent of movies that it's clearly inspired from, 50s films. 50s, 40s, 30s, those movies where there was a lot of just stills and shots and stuff with a very different aspect ratio than you're used to seeing. It feels like it should be on one of those smaller box TVs. That's what the aspect ratio feels like. It's not tiny. It fits a movie theater screen, but it's just weird that you're seeing an aspect ratio like that you don't really see in movies anymore, or black and white, which has only really been done to do stylistic action movies and stuff. This isn't a stylistic action movie. This is just the tone it's just the coloring and the tone they thought worked best for the movie. So yes, it definitely did deserve like I said, definitely did deserve the nomination for best cinematography, but it deserves so much more nominations. The performances are definitely the best part of the whole thing. Robert Pattinson is a fantastic actor, along with Kristen Stewart, who isn't in this movie. But I just have to bring this up. Twilight ruined those two. They are great actors who were given bad scripts. It's like the prequels of Star Wars. You got so many good actors like Natalie Portman, Ewan McGregor, Samuel L. Jackson in there, Ian McDermott, and you're holding them back with some awful scripts. Simply awful scripts. But I'm glad that they're both starting to get into the mainstream more, like with him being Batman. I'm very excited for that. But anyways, Pattinson is a great lead because starting the movie, we know about as much as he does, maybe even less than he does. Like, we know, all we know is that he's new. He's going to work in a lighthouse. We don't know why. So, we don't know what's going on at this lighthouse. We don't know what Willem Dafoe's character is like Robert Pattinson, but we don't know why he's here. We don't know why Pattinson's here. So, you you sort of feel like you're in the place of Robert Pattinson, but also when you start to uncover more secrets about him, you start to realize, oh man, I didn't know that. I was kind of alone. So he works as the lead when, especially in the beginning, when we know about as much as he does. And Willem Dafoe is like I said, everything's great about this movie, but the true standout is Willem Dafoe, who is once again phenomenal. But it's Willem Dafoe, so I mean, he gives this role his all. He doesn't hold back, no matter how ridiculous. He had scripted fart noises. There are fart noises in this movie. There's a lot of fart noises in this movie. And I don't. Maybe they're supposed to be funny. I don't know. They just feel weird, and I think that's also the point. But yeah, he had scripted fart noises. No matter how ridiculous, he really got like, who spilled your beans? He gives it his all, which truly makes him stand out from, like, that truly makes him a standout performer in any movie, and definitely got snubbed in for Best Supporting Actor. In every single shot Eggers does is purposeful and hard to look away from. He makes it beautiful, and they're on purpose. You can tell, even though this is his second film, he knows what he's doing. He's competent behind the camera, which is something you really like to see in directors, especially ones who are pretty much just started their film career in 2015. So it's good to have directors who are confident and know what they're doing this early in their career, because that could lead to great things. And it makes me excited to see what else this director will do. I like Ari Aster with Hereditary and Midsummer, or Jordan Peele with Get Out and Us. Those three are new directors who've only done 2 movies each, and all 6 of those movies that they have done are amazing. So I'm really excited to see what all 3 of them, especially Eggers, is going to do. In this movie, you are addicted from beginning to end. When I was watching it, I couldn't keep my eyes away from the screen. I had to look. There was a part I found boring in the almost 2-hour runtime, which I don't complain about movies' runtime too much, because I feel if you need to be that long, you need to. Endgame, I never complained about 3-hour long runtime. In fact, sometimes I felt like it wasn't even 3 hours. That movie felt quick for me. Very few movies that complain about the runtime. It, Chapter 2, that's a long movie. I feel like it's a little longer than it needs to be. Especially with this weird pacing, like sometimes it goes so fast and then sometimes it goes so slow. So it's a bit longer than I think it needs to be. But we're not talking about it. We're talking about Lighthouse, and this movie is never boring. You want to look at it. You kind of don't want it to end, but also you do, because you want to find out what's happening, which you do and you don't. The best part truly is the ending. There's no spoilers in here, but I will say interpretation is, like Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, a true star. You know what's going on, but you don't. You have your theories and your friends have theirs, and you don't know if yours is right or not, and it is great. And I like that the director does not confirm it. Sometimes I feel like when a director confirms a theory, and especially with a movie like this, it feels like it takes away everything from the movie. I feel like if I know what the ending is, I would still watch this movie because it's still a great movie, but I feel like a lot would be taken away, especially the ending. I like to sort of not know, but also sort of know, and just leave it to yourself and your imagination to think of what just happened. I like when movies do something like that. I like that you can and sit down and have a long conversation about this movie. I love when you can just sit and have long conversations about any movie, no matter the type of movie. You can have long conversations about just a fun movie like John Wick, because that's a good movie that you can have a long conversation about what you thought. And light, so it doesn't have to be an art film like Lighthouse. It can be any film. But I'm glad that this movie is a movie that you can have a long conversation about. And this movie has not been divisive. It's been pretty much universally acclaimed, which is great because I like when movies are universally acclaimed. But I do know that when you watch this movie, you probably won't be in the middle like, oh, I don't know if I liked it or not, or it was okay. I feel like you will have a definitive feeling on it. Either you will like it or not. Is it a film I think everyone will like? No. Is it a film I think everyone should see? Yes, I do. The Lighthouse is one of, if not the best film of 2019. So, I'm going to give The Lighthouse 100 seagulls out of 100. 100 seagulls out of 100. Enunciate. I highly recommend this film. It is so good. So, my question is, have you seen The Lighthouse? What did you think? If you have not seen it, go see it. It's out on DVD now. Watch it. I think it was on. I watched it on Tubi. I don't know if it's still on there. I don't think so. But seriously, watch it. Tell. So of course, if you did or and want to tell me how you thought, tell me in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. This is Jordan from Jordan Reviews. Signing off.